Did you know? Visceral fat is the most dangerous type of fat, increasing the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and premature aging. Visceral fat not only makes your waist bigger, but also secretes inflammatory substances, disrupts hormones, and increases the risk of dangerous diseases. Unlike subcutaneous fat, this type of fat is hidden inside the body, so you can be thin but still have high visceral fat. So what is the solution? Let's explore the diet that, according to Dr. Mark Hyman, a world-famous medical expert, has a simple diet that anyone can apply, helping to quickly eliminate visceral fat. And the great thing is that it is the easiest in the world. Let's follow along. First, a little introduction about the person who created this diet. That is Dr. Mark Hyman. Dr. Mark Hyman is one of the world's leading medical experts on functional nutrition, who has dedicated his career to figuring out how people can eat to heal. He has counseled thousands of patients, from busy mums to successful entrepreneurs to famous celebrities. And there is one truth he always emphasizes. The most dangerous fat in our bodies is not just under the skin, but hidden deep in the abdomen, surrounding vital organs. And that is visceral fat. And here is something that may surprise you. Researchers have proven that there is a diet that can help reduce visceral fat by 14%, even if you don't lose a single pound on the scale. It's not keto, it's not all carnivore, and it doesn't require counting every single calorie. It sounds too good to be true, but the science speaks. What's more, it's as the easiest diet to follow if you really want to get rid of the silent killer called visceral fat. Mark Hyman recalls, "I was an overweight kid who was afraid to take off his shirt at the pool. My obsession with my body shape led me to study nutrition more deeply. Over the decades, I realized that not all fat is the same, and that visceral fat is the culprit that is ruining human health. Visceral fat is not just an ugly layer of fat around the belly. It acts like a toxic factory in the body, constantly secreting inflammatory molecules called cytokine. These molecules spread throughout the bloodstream, promoting a state of smoldering inflammation, the root cause of a series of chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, asthma, and even cancer. A Harvard study also showed that the more visceral fat, the less blood flow to the brain, and the brain gradually shrinks in the areas that control memory and emotion. In other words, too much visceral fat can literally make you stupid. The scary thing is that you can lose weight, but visceral fat is still stubborn and you can shrink it without losing weight. Mark Hyman recalls the case of a patient, a man who wanted to lose weight but still kept the habit of drinking alcohol and eating his favorite foods. He believed that if he just reduced calories, all the fat would disappear. The result? He had lost 5 kilograms, but when he was examined by DEXA scan, the amount of visceral fat had not changed at all. He was extremely disappointed, and the truth is that to get rid of visceral fat is not just a matter of calories, but also a change in the quality of food. And here is the turning point. After applying some simple changes in diet, the patient reduced visceral fat by 75%. The weapon that Mark Hyman and scientists recommend is called the optimized Mediterranean diet. To give you an idea, a large study compared 3 groups of people. The first group followed the instructions, eating a healthy diet with lean meats, vegetables, and fruits. No weight loss, but visceral fat, lost 4.2%. The second group followed the classic Mediterranean diet, which included olive oil, fish, and nuts. Lost 2.7% of their weight and 6% of their visceral fat. The third group followed the optimized Mediterranean diet, which included foods rich in polyphenols such as blueberries, raspberries, pomegranates, and green tea. They lost only 3.9% of their weight, but their visceral fat lost 14%, more than 3 times as much as the traditional group. Polyphenols are the secret. These are magical plant compounds that act as gut wakeners, activating molecules like olefins that help the body burn visceral fat more efficiently. You can think of polyphenols as a team of workers cleaning out the belly warehouse, clearing away the dangerous layers of fat that surround the liver, pancreas, and heart. That's why Mark Hyman always reminds us, don't obsess over weight. Pay attention to the food you're putting into your body, because it's the quality of food that determines your health and longevity. 2. When implementing the optimized Mediterranean diet, Dr. Mark Hyman always starts by eliminating the saboteurs. Number 1 is alcohol. His patients used to drink 1 to 2 drinks a day and more on the weekends. It may sound harmless, but in fact, just a small amount of alcohol is enough to trigger inflammation, increase appetite, and force the liver to prioritize processing alcohol before touching any other fat. In other words, when you drink alcohol, your body freezes the process of burning visceral fat. Therefore, if you want to give your body a real chance to heal, the first thing is to say goodbye to the habit of drinking regularly. Next is ultra-processed foods. Snake cakes, soft drinks, convenient canned foods. Not only do they contain sugar and bad fats, they also contain emulsifiers and preservatives that disrupt the intestinal microflora. A polluted gut is fertile ground for visceral fat to take hold. Many recent studies show that just 2 weeks of eating a lot of processed foods can cause a sharp decrease in the amount of beneficial bacteria in the gut, leading to inflammation spreading throughout the body. After cleaning up the waste, the next step is to nourish the body with truly quality ingredients. First, Mark emphasizes clean protein. He typically sets a floor and ceiling of 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Protein sources include white, fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, or natural raised chicken breast. Interestingly, when his patient loses 20 pounds, he gains 3.5 pounds of lean muscle mass thanks to adequate protein intake. This is like reducing belly fat while also building a protective metabolic wall to help maintain vitality. Another indispensable weapon is dark berries. Mark requires patients to eat at least 2 cups of blueberries or raspberries every day. Not only is this a delicious treat, but it is also like a natural pill rich in polyphenols. These tiny molecules enter the gut and turn into a powerful signal that helps the body turn on visceral fat burning mode. Think of it simply. Each spoonful of berries is like a beam of light sweeping through the abdominal cavity, searching for and burning away each layer of fat that clings to the liver, pancreas, and heart, and for those addicted to coffee. Mark doesn't make them quit completely, but gradually switch to green tea. A cup of coffee in the morning is still kept, but the next 2 cups are replaced with green tea. Thanks to the compound cadein combined with caffeine, green tea becomes a wing to enhance the process of fat oxidation, especially in the abdominal area. Many studies have shown that people who drink green tea regularly have a much lower rate of visceral fat. That's not all. The diet is also filled with green vegetables with polyphenol oil, such as kale and spinach. This is a way to increase the volume of meals without increasing calories, helping to stay full longer while also nourishing the intestinal microflora. Mark also adds fermented foods such as kimchi, sauerkraut, along with chia seeds, which are both sources of fiber and food for probiotics. When probiotics are healthy, they act as gatekeepers to the intestines, preventing further accumulation of visceral fat. Another important principle he applies is called hunger automation. Instead of eating irregularly, his patients started eating according to their circadian rhythm, ending dinner before 7 p.m., so that the body has 3 to 5 hours to digest before going to bed. The next morning, within 1 to 2 hours of waking up, is a meal rich in protein and nutrients. Midday is the second balanced meal. Dinner is the last meal. When you teach your body to eat at a certain time, hunger also begins to obediently obey instead of rebelling at any time. Of course, Mark does not forget to emphasize the role of exercise. His patients combine weight training, brisk walking, and sprinting. The trio of exercises has been proven to be powerful in reducing visceral fat while preserving lean muscle mass. And most importantly, it takes at least 90 days of patience to see a noticeable change. Surprisingly, after 2 weeks of application, the patient who was a snack lover began to feel so full that he did not want to eat more. He even texted Dr. Mark and asked, "If I'm not hungry, should I force myself to eat?" From someone who used to snack for 12 hours a day, he learned to make hunger his ally, not his enemy. In conclusion, Dr. Mark Hyman said that the quality of the food you eat is just as important, if not more important, than the number of calories. If you feed your gut the right ingredients, your body will learn to heal itself and eliminate visceral fat. It's not magic, it's science. So start with a small change tonight. Replace your soda with a glass of green tea. Replace your snake gourd with blueberries. And try turning off the stove early so dinner is over before 7 p.m. UC. This diet is not complicated. There's no need to count calories, and there's no need for extreme dieting. Just return to natural and healthy foods, and your body will heal itself and burn visceral fat. If you want to live healthy, young, and full of energy, start today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to receive more useful health knowledge from us.